What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Locked In Sports Podcast. I'm William Locke, coming to you live from Chicago, Illinois. And as always, on this Friday morning, we have Luis Barranco coming to you live from Miami, Florida. Luis, another week of baseball is in the books. How you doing?
Another week is in the books of baseball. The Miami Marlins are on a heater, and the cities that still not care. How are you doing? How's your week in Chicago been since Sunday? Since our last edition?
Yes, I feel like it's been a minute since we've recorded. Good week. It's quite hot here, as you probably saw on the news. If you're watching baseball, whatever, this week, heat wave, just basically across the whole country. So people were complaining about that. I don't know if you see the memes about people in the UK complaining about 70 degree weather. It felt a little similar to that. I mean, as I am someone that grew up in the South, I'm kind of used to this, but people up here maybe not as much. So they complain about the heat. Let me tell you, I will never complain about the heat because we go through 9 months of terrible weather in Chicago, just frigid temperatures. So when it's hot, I'm fine with it. We complain about the cold. I don't need to complain about the heat as well. That's my take.
A very astute observation. I mean, it is hot here, but nobody cares. Nobody cares how hot it is here because it is Miami. This is what you sign up for. You sign up for it being about 90 degrees and 80 degrees year round. In other news, I mean, it's hot. Let's talk about the weekend review with the kids. How's the ball club doing? How's Manager Locke doing?
Great practice last night. I threw batting practice for 2 hours, so my arm is a little gassed this morning. Decided not to lift because my elbow was a little sore in my shoulder, so just went with a run today.
Oh no, that's not good.
Yeah, no, it's not used to throwing that much, so I'm just took a day off from lifting. I'll be fine. But we got a game tomorrow, 2 games tomorrow, so see how it goes. But yeah, practice was solid. Kids were hitting them pretty well last night. So,
are you okay? Like Tommy John or something like that? A second opinion, pushing the start back an extra day.
I haven't gotten a first opinion, so no need for a second opinion yet. But yeah, I don't know. Probably push the start back a day or two. But yeah, we'll see how tomorrow goes. I'll let you guys know. I'll report back on Sunday when we record if we get the dubs tomorrow.
How we feel? Do you have any scouting report on the team tomorrow?
No scouting report. No idea what we're coming up against. So we'll see. I'm probably gonna go with our best pitcher tomorrow, though. He hasn't pitched at all this season, but we've seen him in practice, and he's definitely our best pitcher. So because he got to the team a little bit late, so we haven't thrown him yet. But yeah, he's definitely our best pitcher, and he's the guy that hit the walk-off double last time. So gonna need him to pitch tomorrow, I think.
So my other question is, we got the Columbus Park recap. Let's get the recap NBA draft. I mean, congratulations to a lot of new members to the NBA fraternity last night. The league grew by about 59 players or so last night. Let's talk about it. How do we feel? 2 nights in the books. I mean, talk about it.
I mean, the past few drafts, it's probably the least amount of players that I've recognized. Like I know Cooper Flag, I know the Rutgers dudes, but other than that, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't know any of these players. So I mean, I'm not really tapped into basketball that much. It's not my favorite sport. I mean, it's fine, but at all levels, it's just, I don't know, too stop start, too much fouling, too much like subjectiveness with the fouls. It's a fun sport to play, to watch. Meh. I don't know. It's not my favorite thing. So I didn't really care that much about the draft, to be honest.
Any big takes that you watch? Any big players you're looking forward to watching next year? Or?
I guess the Grizzlies guy. I mean, we'll see. Whatever something, I can't remember his name anymore. Cedric something.
Cedric Howard.
Cedric Howard. Howard.
Yeah.
I've heard good things about him, so we'll see. Cooper Flag will be exciting to watch in Dallas, I guess. But I mean, no one watches regular season NBA basketball, for being honest.
Hey! Let's not disrespect the product.
I mean, the top 10 rated basketball games last year, I think like 6 or 7 of them were college basketball games. So people I mean, there's more interest in college basketball than the NBA, at least in
All
terms
right.
of TV viewership.
Okay, boomer. Okay.
I'm just, I
NBA
mean, NBA
boomer,
is
yeah.
fine, but like I feel like people are really sick of the product and what they put out there, and Adam Silver's done nothing to improve it. So, like, shout out to Rob Manfred. I know it took him a while, but he recognized there was a flaw in baseball and he fixed it. And now, guess what? They're reaping the rewards. Attendance is skyrocketing, viewership is skyrocketing. Everything's up. People care more about baseball now than they did 5 years ago.
I
Just
feel like
fact.
I feel like the storylines in NBA are crazy funny. Like the things that happen on draft night, only on draft night. NBA draft night and NFL draft night, like the funny things that happen. Like you talked about Ace Bailey, Colin Murray Boyles, and all that jazz that happens. I mean, you saw Jan Hansen getting picked at pick 16. Like it's the only league that happens.
Well, I mean, yeah, that the drama. I think people care more about the off-field drama in the NBA than they do the actual games. There's more. It's like basically reality TV for sports, essentially, is what it is. And yeah, people care more about all this off the court drama than the actual X's and O's on the court. That is a fact. That is a
Hey,
fact.
the second apron, I feel like that's the new I feel like NBA always has a buzzword. I feel like as Major League Baseball content creators, we haven't found that MLB word. I know we talk about sabermetrics and analytics. Like basketball this year, it's the second apron. MLB, I don't know. What would that word be in your opinion this year?
Well, early on, it was the torpedo bats. I feel like that died down though.
Yeah, that was like a weak thing.
That was
Week
that was a
one.
week long thing. I mean, pitching injuries, that's kind of died down this year a little bit too. So yeah, I don't know. You definitely second apron in NBA is going to totally kill what teams can do, which again sucks. That CBA is a disaster.
Hey, Major League has the majors have the CBA, but hey, we're not worried about that because if the Locked In Sports podcast has to go through a lockout with Major League Baseball collective bargaining, which I don't know, what are the odds in your opinion? How much percentage?
After next season, I'd say 75%. It seems like it's pretty sure it's going to happen. The owners seem to really want a salary cap, and the PA is not going to stand for that. So, I mean, if anything, they'll want a salary floor. But based on everything I've been reading, kind of reading the tea leaves, it seems like a lockout is like probably going to happen after next season, which sucks. All the momentum they have right now, that would totally kill
Yeah.
everything.
But that's where the Locked In Sports podcast will go international. We're going to start covering the Caribbean baseball leagues. We will be in attendance. We will take William. I will if there's an MLB lockout, I will get William on a plane to the Caribbean, and it will be the funniest thing ever.
Your Spanish would definitely come in handy for those episodes. And I feel like a lot of MLB players would be playing in those leagues during the lockout. So it would be good quality baseball.
MLB William would have to change his username from whatever to William Deportes and everything. So, but regardless, that the majors are still playing, and I think the biggest point of this week is that the All-Star ballot is out. Last night, MLB released the finalists, and by no surprise, Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani are your top overall vote getters, and they will be in the All-Star game. Aside from that, we're now down to the final vote, which we're now at phase 3, which we will have starters announced on Sunday Night Baseball, if I am not mistaken. Correct?
Yeah, I think it's Sunday night. It's coming up soon, regardless. And yeah, MLB released their finalists from the fan vote to be the starters. A lot of them are pretty questionable. So today we're gonna do our starters. We're gonna list for the American League and for the National League. And then on Sunday, that episode, we're gonna list our full teams, which is always a fun episode for me. I enjoy that one because we get to pick the teams that stink. We have to pick their all-star representative, which I always kind of enjoy. It's funny to think of like the Rockies, one of the worst teams of all time. They have to have an all-star. It's kind of a gimmick that maybe people in MLB or some MLB fans don't necessarily like. I personally like it. I think it's cool to have every single team represented at the all-star game because it's a celebration of baseball. And Usually, there's not that many major snubs, especially because we have so many injury replacements and whatnot in the All-Star game. So nonetheless, we compiled our starters for the American League and the National League, noting that these have no relation to the fan vote. I kind of think it's garbage and look, as a fan, I think it's cool that I get to vote on who gets to play in the All-Star game. I also don't think fans should be the ones determining who is in the All-Star game, because the Dodgers have infinitely more fans than, let's say, the Pittsburgh Pirates, and the Dodgers are going to get a lot more finalists than other teams that have less fans. So I don't know if it's fair. The Yankees, same thing in the American League. We'll talk about some robbery going on with the finalists and the fan vote there. We're disregarding the finalists from the fan vote. We're just doing who we think should be the starters in these lists.
And first off, I'd like to apologize on the behalf of Major League Content Media Creation. I feel like there is a huge disrespect going on with one team in baseball right now. I know the finalists will release. We'll go ahead and talk about them, but the Tampa Bay Rays do not have a single All-Star finalist in the AL. And we're talking about a team right now that has won 7 out of their last 10. They are 46-35, only a half game behind the New York Yankees for the American League East. That puts them right around as the 4th best team in the AL, and not a single guy made the finalist for the fan vote. One of the ones I will pick on right now is at first base. The fans have decided Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and Paul Goldschmidt. If you were to compare the 3 stats of Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Paul Goldschmidt, and Jonathan Aranda, who's had an incredible year, Jonathan Aranda has a 2.8 WAR, which is higher than Vladimir Guerrero Jr.'s at 2.6 and Paul Goldschmidt's at 1.5. Jonathan Aranda has more hits at 84. The other two are tied for 82 hits. Jonathan Aranda has higher batting average, on-base percentage, slugging, OPS, and OPS plus. The only places that Jonathan Aranda is beat is in games, plate appearances, home runs, and stolen bases. Goldschmidt has more stolen bases, and Vladimir has more games, plate appearances, and home runs. But I just think that we have done a disservice to one of the better teams in baseball, one of the teams that I have slept on personally, with a lot of really good things happening. And, they're in the news right now because now MLB is kind of like shaking in their boots, because it looks likely that we are going to get a playoff game in Tampa. But where are they going to play? Is it going to be at Steinbrenner Field? Where is it going to play? Along with Jonathan Aranda, you also have guys like Junior Caminero, who I think we talked about last podcast extensively at age 21 as being one of the cornerstones of the franchise. And you have Brandon Lau at second base. And for context, at second base, okay, there's good finalists, third base as well, but there has to be more representation on one of the top 4 teams in the AL. Maybe top 10, top 5 in the whole league right now.
Yep, you hit all the points that I wanted to get to. I mean, they're completely underrepresented in this list. Again, that's a product of the fan vote. The Rays just don't have as many fans as the Yankees or the Blue Jays have a whole country behind them. So of course Vlad's going to do well in the All-Star voting. And he's had a solid season, but he hasn't had a Vlad level season, what we expected. I mean, I picked him as my MVP heading into the season. So, and you also look at WRC plus, Jonathan Aranda is leading all first basemen in the American League with a 161 WRC plus, which is crazy. Paul Goldschmidt, if this was an all-star of the first 2 months of the season, yeah, sure, Paul Goldschmidt would definitely be the starter, but he's fallen off a cliff. So with that, I mean, let's just get into the American League, and obviously our first baseman is Jonathan Aranda. We don't need to go into much further detail on him. He's been incredible for the Rays, and like you said, it looks like they're going to get a playoff game at home, and we'll see where they decide to play it. It seems like in the wild card and division rounds, they could have it at home, but once you get to the CS and the World Series, and there's more like media, that needs seats, and I think the players' ticket pool expands, that stadium might not be big enough. So They have to figure that out. That'll be interesting if they make it far. American League catcher, no debate. I mean, Cal Raleigh is our catcher starting. Already has 32 home runs on the season. Let's not talk about who's close behind him, because we can talk about that on Sunday when we go through our full team.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Who's our second baseman in the American League, Luis? This one kind of hurts. I don't know if I want to say.
Let's talk about it. I mean, right now, the guy that would be at second, in my opinion, is Mr. Gleyber David Torres. Gleyber David Torres has had a year. He's grown out the beard, and he has become an absolute mainstay for that Detroit Tigers lineup. I mean, the Detroit Tigers are the best team in the American League, best team in the majors for a lot of the season, and he's up against Jackson Holliday as the finalist. I mean, second base is a weak position in the American League with how Marcus Semien has played this year. But Gleyber Torres, what a renaissance here. He's batting 266, 338 on base percentage, slugging 440. He has, that's a season stats. I'll pull up his stats right now for just this year.
281 batting average, 386 OBP, 430 slug, 136 WRC plus. And he leads second baseman in WAR at 2, 8 homers, 4 stolen bases.
He's just been a dude. And I mean, where would the Tigers be without Gleyber Torres in the lineup? Like, he's been like really, really good for him. Like, without him, that's a big cog. And I feel like a lot of Yankee fans wish they had Gleyber Torres right now in the lineup over DJ LeMahieu or Oswald Peraza right now. But I feel like that's one of the marriages, like, you know, to best put it in relationship terms, as I always do. It's like one of the relationships that it was happy that you had the relationship. At the end, it got a little bit toxic, and you thought it just wasn't a match for you guys. And then, like, you guys walked away, and it's good for both sides.
Yeah, agreed. It seemed like it wasn't going to work out with those two sides. And he doesn't play great defense. That's kind of the knock on him. The Yankees were trying to improve defensively this offseason. Maybe he didn't fit the mold, didn't have the best relationship with Brian Cashman, despite Gleyber Torres saying he wanted to be a Yankee for his entire career. He ultimately will not, obviously, be. Let's move to short in the American League. It's the fan vote is between Jacob Wilson and Bobby Witt Jr. And I went back and forth on this. There's two guys. I'm between Jacob Wilson and Jeremy Peña, and we'll talk more about Jeremy Peña once we get to the Astros in our MLB recap later in the episode. We aligned on Jacob Wilson. He leads American League in batting average at 345. Has hit 9 homers, so there's been some power. 484 slug, not too shabby at all. That's better than Bobby Witt right now. 148 WRC plus, 3.1 Fangraph WAR on the season. You look at OPS, he's at 870, which is just 1 behind Jeremy Peña. He's been incredible in his rookie season. I saw this week that he said he uses video games as a method to improve his hand-eye coordination. So he likes to wake up, hop on the sticks, and then go to the field, which I thought was kind of cool. So, yeah, athletics, that's going to be our rep at shortstop. Jacob Wilson. Jeremy Peña has been incredible, man. It was really tough between those two. I think Jeremy Peña should be the second semifinalist behind behind Mr. Wilson. I think American League shortstop is a pretty strong position this year. Gunnar started out a little bit slow, but he's been better. Zach Neto has been nice. But, yeah, our starter is Jacob Wilson.
In my opinion, I feel like this is about, like, what flavor do you like? It's like, William, how do you like your chicken? Or how do you like your meat cooked? Pause. How do you like
medium rare.
Okay, yeah. Some people like it well done. Some people like it medium. I'm a medium rare type of guy. And there's no problem. I mean, I'll judge you, but
yeah,
medium rare. This is the same thing with shortstops. I mean, you got 3 very distinct different guys. You got Jacob Wilson, your elite bat the ball skills. He's going to be a singles king. He's batting 345, and he has the highest on base percentage between all 3 of them. Now, do you want somebody that slugs a little bit better and, gets little hits a little bit more for power this year? Jeremy Peña is your guy. I mean, he has 11 home runs. All 3 of them are tied for 40 RBIs, but the slugging is 492, and OPS is 871. And the last one is Bobby Witt. You want a guy that's just all around great. You want like a name that's Bobby Witt. Bobby Witt really shouldn't be in this conversation. Aside from like, yes, he is your speed guy. He has been seen. He's stolen 21 bases over 15 for Jeremy Peña and 5 for Jacob Wilson, and he's tied for RBI. So it's just up to it's like, what do you want? And I feel like Jacob Wilson deserves it. I mean, elite bat the ball skills. Like, he's had a great season. He doesn't strike out. So
yeah, he's been a lot of fun to watch out in Sacramento. Third baseman, J-Ram, not much of a conversation there. He's your starter. 317 batting average, 148 WRC plus, leads third baseman in F4 in the American League, 21 stolen bases as well on the season. So there's not even a debate on, in my opinion, at third base. The other semifinalist is Alex Bregman, but he's been hurt for a while. He's not even a qualified hitter anymore. I think he would have had an argument had he stayed healthy and continued to produce, but yeah, third base is Mr. Ramirez.
I agree. I mean, the only other guy would be Junior Caminero, but the resumes don't line up. Let's just go through the outfield. I mean, you also have right field. You have Mr. Aaron Judge, Judge's Chambers out and right. Hopefully he can get a home run in a big moment. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
Center field, Byron Buxton. Left field, Riley Green. A lot of people are hopping on the Riley Green propaganda train. I mean, with how good Detroit is. And left field, I would take him over Stephen Kwan this season. And then, we talked about Byron Buxton a week and a half ago, how good he is for the Twins.
Yeah, he could be a trade piece. They came out and said they don't want to sell. I think they should. We'll see. But yeah, Riley Green's been great. 295 average, 147 WRC plus. He's kind of by far the best left fielder, in my opinion, in the American League this year. And then Buxton, again, not like really a debate, in my opinion. He's not a finalist. They have Kwan. They also have
Trout.
They have Trout. I don't see it. He's also out for a long time. And then Javier Baez is a finalist as well. Again, just disagree with the fan vote entirely on a lot of this stuff. But yeah, all right, let's move to the National League.
Half of those Javi Baez votes are from Bree Diallo and her fan base.
I forgot. Also, our starting pitcher is Skubal, of course.
But although, don't you think about the Javi Baez thing? Half of them being by Bree Diallo stands, just supporting her.
Well, she's she's a fan of like 5 teams, so
her fan base. And Baseball for Baddies is pushing the the Riley Green fan vote right now. She posted up a little reel.
Hey, we're big Baseball for Baddies fans here. If she ever wants to come on the pod, she's got a lifetime invite. And our starting pitcher is Skubal for sure. Crochet a tick behind. Fried's also been great. Skubal's last couple starts haven't been incredible, but yeah, he's still going to be our starter in the American League.
Did you see that stat on Crochet?
No, I didn't. I mean, that's very vague. I don't know which one.
So I was reading a stat yesterday, and it was talking about who neutralizes elite bat speeds. And guess who neutralizes elite bat speeds in the top 5?
Garrett Crochet.
Garrett Crochet is number 3. He neutralizes 56 elite out of the top 10 elite bat speed neutralizers. He's in 3rd at 56%. You would never guess who's in 1st and 2nd place.
Ryan Yarbrough. Kyle Hendricks.
I'm just going to tell you, Brant Herter at 57.1%. The league average neutralizes bat speed at 40%. Landon Knack is at 2nd. Joe Ryan is at 4th. Spencer Bevins at 5. Shota Imanaga at 6. Ryan Gusto, Cody Senga, Jacob deGrom, and Aaron Nola. Those are your elite bat speed neutralizers.
Okay. And we also forgot for the DH in the American League, we got Ryan O'Hearn.
He kind of named himself a couple weeks ago after the Devers trade.
He lucked out for sure with the Devers trade. It would have been Devers. But yeah, let's move to the National League.
Not Ben Rice. What are you talking about? Like, what do you mean? We gotta make a case for Ben Rice. He's like the ex-Woba king.
He's
Like,
not a
whoa, time out. You're just brushing up on the fact that Ben Rice, a finalist, a DH, who's like the king of all metrics, is not going to make the All-Star game.
no,
Like,
he'll
what is
make it.
this?
I think he'll make it, which is,
I don't-
I mean, is Ben Rice having an all-star caliber season? Probably not, if we're being honest. Statistically, if you look at the expected stats, sure, yeah, he'd be an all-star, but guess what? Those don't count.
Hey, expected stats again, that's baseball propaganda I'm not falling for. But as we move along, the NL, let's run through the infield quick because I feel like the infield really does pick itself. Catcher, I mean, the catcher is such a weak position. I mean, this used to be a position where you had William, the Contreras brothers, and William and Wilson in Milwaukee and St. Louis, respectively. Sean Murphy's fallen off a cliff. JT Realmuto is not JT Realmuto of old, so it's Will Smith at catcher. For the Dodgers, just hitting the ball really well. You have at first baseman Freddie Freeman, who, again, another position that's kind of weak in the NL. The only other guy that you could make an argument for would be the polar bear, which, I mean, how do you feel about that one?
I'd give it to Freeman. He's got a
Not the polar bear.
better batting average. I just feel like he's kind of been more of a complete player. Less games, less games. Pete does have a higher WAR, but again, he's played 12 more games. Pete has more home runs. But yeah, we'll give it to Freddie. I think he is deserving. Pete's been incredible too. We know Pete will be in the home run derby again, as he always is. He hasn't declared officially, but that's kind of his Super Bowl, so we'll see him there. I
That's
guess
the
you could.
Mets. That's the Mets fan Super Bowl. Let's just be honest. Like Met fans, like will go crazy. You
That's
know,
their. I don't know. I feel like the Mets fans might be getting a little sick of Pete being in this thing and like
I,
caring about it so much. I mean,
I
they had a
think
great playoff run last year, so
I think Mets fans are just tired of the home run derby and just have just moved on to greener pastures into like the off season championships. I feel like that's kind of their bigger like calling card now. Winning free agent acquisition signings and signing all the relievers in the majors and middling starters. I think that's what their new like Super Bowl is.
well, we'll see. I think they're gonna. We'll talk about them later. Yeah, first base Freddie. Second base we got Ketel Marte. That one's not.
Hey, screw those guys in Chicago for making that commentary. I mean, players are humans too. Ketel Marte is the best second baseman in the majors right now, and you would agree.
Oh yeah,
They're humans and they don't deserve to be treated like, I kind of feel as fans, not us, but a lot of fans treat these players like zoo animals in the
yeah,
sense that they think they can say anything or do anything and like they're just not going to care. At the end of the day, they're human just like you and me. Like they have feelings. They have, families and jobs. Like they stress about the same stuff we stress about. Like
yeah,
we stress about like making it work and putting food on the table. They probably stress about the whole thing too. They stress about performance. We stress about performance as well. We have performance reviews too. They have performance reviews almost every single day.
yeah.
Like it's
That
quantifiable.
that's facts. Yeah, baseball and all sports in general is so performance based. There's so much stress on these players, and to your point, like we don't need fans doing this stuff, man. I think it's gotten worse since gambling has become so ingrained in the sports culture, where now fans just think they can say whatever they want to players because they didn't get 20 points or they didn't, hit a home run and they ruined their parlay. And it's like, dude, first of all, like get a life respectfully, but like you're throwing up 5 leg parlays every single day, putting $100 on it, whatever. Like it's not going to hit. The bets you're putting down are terrible. So and guess what? Ketel Marte is not going to hit a home run every single game. He is a human being, like you said. Like it irritates me when I see fans DMing these players about not hitting their parlay. First, parlays are not even a good bet in the first place. Like if you really wanted to make money on gambling, you would just do straight bets and hope to incrementally make money over time. But guess what? Even the professionals, the guys that do this stuff for a living, aren't hitting their bets all the time, and it takes a long time for them to turn a profit. It's the house always wins. So stop complaining about your stupid parlays. I'm so sick of this gambling being just so ingrained in our sports society. I think of like a whole generation of kids that are going to grow up every single game they
Oh
watch.
God.
And yeah, think about it.
Oh
Like
God.
if you're an
Oh,
8-year-old
shit.
if you're an 8-year-old kid right now and you tune in to watch a baseball any sporting event, you're going to see same game parlay advertisements during the middle of the game. You're going to see every single commercial break is going to have 2 or 3 FanDuel and DraftKings ads. You're going to see gambling ads all across the stadium. Like it's in every single aspect of sports now. And we're going to have a whole generation of kids that are just going to grow up thinking it's totally okay to gamble on sports when, I mean, me and you growing up, we never saw any of that stuff.
No, we didn't.
The next generation is I think in a lot of danger because of the stuff. And we've seen other countries like the UK,
Australia too.
they've dealt with a lot of issues with just gambling issues amongst the youth, amongst mainly men. And, because women are smart enough not to do this stuff for the most part, because they know it's not a good way to make money. And
I mean, if there was parlays for Love Island, I think they would be stacking up the parlays for Love Island.
And there are of course women that bet on sports, but it's not as dominant on for females the way it is for men. And I just think there's going to be a next generation of people that really struggle with gambling addiction. And it's going to become a major, major problem in this country if it really isn't already. And I think again, a lot of that stems or ties back to the abuse that players are getting on the field. I really do.
Yeah,
So,
the big thing we have going on with this whole Ketel Marte story is just that, again, it stems from the whole Jaren Duran and things. But regardless, we're back to baseball. So Ketel Marte is the best second baseman. He did miss a month of the season around about due to the hamstring. He's the best second baseman in the NL.
and probably the league.
Yeah.
Shortstop, you disagree with the finalist. I know. I know you.
Ellie De La Cruz. I just have a bone to pick, and I know we'll talk about this soon, but I'm just so tired of these like jumbo shortstops. It's like, I feel like every sports goes into like, I know I'm like kind of like in draft mode, but I think like every sport goes through like a fad. And I feel like baseball is going through this fad of getting tall athletic shortstops when they're just not shortstops. It's like an NBA and NFL. Like NFL, everybody wanted that like Jamarcus Russell, like Josh Allen, big howitzer arm that can't throw like accurately. NBA, everybody wants the 3-and-D wing that's athletic, but can't shoot worth a damn. That's what we're going through in baseball. I'm like, yes, Ellie De La Cruz is a great player, but he's not a shortstop. And I feel like there's just better options at shortstop than Ellie De La Cruz. I'm not saying I'm not an Ellie De La Cruz fan, because I am a fan, but I just think there's just better shortstops instead of him. I mean, I think Francisco Lindor, and I won't say this a lot, is more deserving
of the starting nod.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. I mean, make the case.
I mean, Francisco Lindor, what are we talking about? Let's talk about, are we going to value winning or not? I feel like I'm going to sound like Charles Barkley here, but I value winning when it comes to the All-Star game. Like, we need to put winning as a big thing in this discussion. Because if your team's not winning and you're putting up these numbers, that means not good. And just as I looked up the stats, yeah, Ellie De La Cruz literally knocks Francisco Lindor off the park.
Yeah, I told you.
I will shut up.
Yeah, Ellie De La Cruz has better stats in basically every category than Lindor. Another guy you could say, I know we don't want to go into too much detail, Trey Turner in there. Mookie is, I'm sorry, he's not an all-star this season. So he's one of the finalists, though. Third base in the National League, we're going with Manny Machado. He is a finalist alongside Max Muncy, which Max Muncy was abysmal for the first couple months of the season, but has really turned it on lately and is a product of the Dodger fans voting in droves. So, yeah, we got Machado, though, as our third baseman.
It's those glasses that they have, he got glasses, and we can't talk anything about the Dodgers because I feel like our account will get blocked off Instagram and TikTok. So
yeah, I forgot to say at the beginning of the pod, follow us on TikTok. We just made an account at Locked In Sports Pod, and subscribe on YouTube. I think we're up to 64 subscribers. We're trying to get to 100 by the end of the year. Keep pushing it. Subscribe, hit that like button, hit the notification bell, and all that stuff. Yeah, the Dodger fans, they're a soft bunch. We'll just say that. Outfield, center field, we got PCA, and left field, I can't believe he's not a finalist. We got James Wood. Again, fan vote is broken. In right field, it's between Kyle Tucker and Ronald Acuna Jr. Acuna definitely doesn't have as many games, but he's just been so good. He's been incredible in his time. He's played 31 games and already has a 2.2 F4, 9 homers, 369 average, 215 WRC plus. He's been, as the youth say, he's been cracked.
He has been cracked. I can't say you said it best right there.
Yeah, DH Ohtani, he's already been nominated or selected as the captain. And then our starter in the National League might surprise some people. I'm going to say Logan Webb. Logan Webb over Paul Skenes. He has more tied in F4, more strikeouts per 9, less walks per 9 than Skenes. And I just think he's coming from a better team. Skenes can't get any run support to save his life. ERA is in favor of Skenes. FIP is in favor of Logan Webb. Yeah, I just think Logan Webb's pretty underrated, so I'm going to give him the starting nod this year. Skenes had it last year. Both those guys will be all-stars anyway. That's our teams.
That's the teams. So now we'll come out Sunday with the rated teams, with the whole teams and our predictions. But let's go ahead and get on to the meat of the podcast, which I feel like everybody's been waiting for. As every week we do a Yankees weekend review with our Yankee resident aficionado, William. He's been a Yankee fan since birth, since the womb. Let's go ahead and talk about it. It's been a rough week. The Yankees went up to Cincinnati, my old home. The Reds stole 2 out of 3. Again, it's been a rough June for the Yankees. Reds on Monday night won 6-1. I kind of feel like they punted the game when they put in Ian Hamilton. Alan Winans went up 4 1/3, gave up 4 earned, 1 strikeout, 5 hits. Ellie De La Cruz has been on a heater. I mean, Reds have won 11 out of 16 as of Monday. Ellie hit 3 for 4, 3 RBIs and a homer. And his improvement has been something that, that we just have to take the time to talk about, because I feel like the hitter that he was coming into the league a couple of years ago to now is something that, you've noticed as a ball knower and a former player playing in the various levels of baseball, that I feel like you want to point out.
Yeah. I mean, Ellie has been so good this season. I feel like he's sort of flying under the radar in terms of the national media. I feel like a lot of people are focusing on James Wood. They're focusing on PCA. Those guys deserve the love, but Ellie he's having a career year. I mean, career best in basically every single stat category. Batting average is a career best by a wide margin. OBP, slug, OPS plus. He's at 18 home runs. His career high is 25. He's going to get a career high in home runs, assuming he stays healthy this season. He's at 81 games. He's played in every single game for the Reds this season. And I think most importantly for De La Cruz this season, he's cut down on the strikeouts. And that was, an issue with him the first couple seasons. That was an issue with him coming up as a prospect. And if you look at the numbers, the strikeout rate his first year in 2023 was 33%. Last season, it was 31%. This year, it's 25%. Obviously, that is still not great, but that's 23rd percentile in the sport. That is much better than where he was. And that's a huge deal, in my opinion, for Mr. De La Cruz. The savant metrics are all very strong for the most part, again, except the whiff and the Ks. The thing that I want to see him improve on is the defense. Again, I don't feel like he's a shortstop necessarily. I think he would maybe be better suited in the outfield. He has the arm strength. It's just, I don't know, it's kind of a little awkward for a guy that big to be playing shortstop, in my opinion. But nonetheless, this guy's having a career year. He could make a push for the MVP, at least to get some MVP votes, because I still think Ohtani's probably going to win the thing, kind of going away. But it's been really refreshing to see Ellie De La Cruz make a lot of improvements this season. And when you look at the strikeout rate, I liken it to something like an Aaron Judge, a guy that really struggled with strikeouts early in his career, same type of build as a player. And it took him longer to cut down on the strikeouts than it has De La Cruz. And to see De La Cruz do it in his 3rd season, it's impressive. He went nuclear against the Yankees on Monday, 3 for 4, 3 ribbies and a homer. I think he deserves some love. I think he should be the starting shortstop for the National League All-Star team this year, and it's really good to see him playing at this level. I think he's a superstar in this league. I think he can be one of the faces of the league. I know he plays for the Reds. I believe he's a Boras client.
I believe so. Yeah, I believe so.
Fact check me on that one, which is a red flag for Reds fans. But I mean, if I'm a Reds fan, I want to see this dude locked down ASAP.
I mean, you had those comments from the agent. Yeah, it is Scott Boras. You had the comments from Nick Kroll earlier this season about the extension. I mean, yeah, I mean, Scott Boras runs the league at some point, but I mean, hey, congratulations to the Reds. I feel, again, the Yankees can't freaking hit again in the month of June. It's like the calendar turns and it's like a plague. The baseball becomes a freaking mini meteorite. It becomes a Lego coming down the pike and that you can't hit it. Losing to this team is just not good. And especially the Reds. The Reds lineup is not a good lineup. They just DFA'd Heimer Candelario recently. They're literally running out, TJ Friedel, Jake Fraley, Reese Hins. Like these guys, like, I'm not saying that they're bad major leaguers, but they're just not like playoff quality major leaguers. And you're losing 6-1. I understand that, you had a spot start on Monday, but you got to put a lot more runs up, especially to this team. The Reds have always had issues in the pen, and you couldn't capitalize on the fact in getting to the pen and putting runs up. Just all around bad on Monday.
I mean, the stat from this one is 0 for 12 with runners in scoring position. You're not going to win any games going 0 for 12 with runners in scoring position. That's terrible.
0 for 12. Then on Tuesday, Chase Burns goes nuclear, striking out 7 through 3. Reds won 5-4 and 11. Jazz gets tossed again. One of those players that I feel like once his head's gone, he's gone. Aaron Boone doing freaking, I know I'm going to sound a little bit negative, but Aaron Boone making decisions, throwing out Mark Leiter Jr. after throwing 27 the night before, throwing him out for another 25, 27 pitches on Tuesday night. They're 1-6 in extra innings, 9th loss in 12 games. Johnny Loizaga, again, is just not good enough. I understand he didn't have a clean inning and everything, but he's just not good enough. You have to get outs, and he did not get outs at the end of the day. At the end of the day, it's Nell. And they lost again on Tuesday. I mean, they're making the Reds look good. I will not be duped by this team again. I'm just disappointed. It's like when a parent tells you, I'm not mad, I'm disappointed.
Yeah, 1-6 in extra innings this season, 0-5 on the road. Jazz, you had him getting ejected after arguing balls and strikes. He was trying to make his case that he shouldn't have gotten ejected. I can see the case. Again, just you got to be able to flush it and move on.
That was an awful call, by the way. Before you continue, that was one of the I understand Jose Trevino is a great framer and everything, and we'll get to Jose later, but that ball was at least one ball length away. It was like a fastball, if I remember correctly. It was one ball length changeup. It was one ball length outside of the strike zone.
Yeah, it was not a strike, but in sports, things aren't going to go your way. I feel like that's kind of a thing we've seen with athletes in all sports. Not maybe basketball and baseball. Maybe basketball to the more so. They just complain about the fouls and stuff. I understand it. You kind of just got to be able to flush it and move on. Judge, was talking to him in the dugout, said you're going to get an at bat again in this game, and you got to step up essentially. And Jazz got tossed. So yeah, that was a tough loss in extras. Judge had the bases loaded in the 10th inning
again
and didn't do anything. Pop up.
Did you see the stat that they brought up on Yes Network on Tuesday night?
No.
That Aaron Judge has had the most go-ahead plate appearances in the 8th inning or later since 2018 or 2017. And again, I still can't remember a memorable hit. I know you do because you're a Yankee fan, but I feel like all these players, these elite and all-time greats, have like one at bat or one play that you always remember. For example, Derek Jeter, happy birthday, happy belated. His birthday was yesterday. He turned 51. You remember the jump throws and him going into the stands of Yankee Stadium, getting hit on the railing and bleeding. I think that was Fenway, I believe, when he went into the railing and caught that ball. And
No, that
started
was in
bleeding.
New York.
Yeah,
I think it was against the Red Sox.
yeah,
The flip play against Oakland.
yeah, you remember those plays. Aaron Judge, what play do you remember of Aaron Judge that's like a play that you remember him for like iconic? And like even then, the last postseason was the Juan Soto postseason. Like people are like when you think back about the World Series run last year, what are you going to remember? You're going to remember obviously game 5, game 6 of the World Series in New York, and you're going to remember game 5, and you're going to remember Juan Soto's home run against the Guardians.
Yeah.
You're not
Yeah, that's what you're going to remember in terms of positive things for the Yankees. I guess game 5 wasn't positive. You had the Freddie Freeman walk-off and all that stuff. Judge had the clutch home run against Clase. The Yankees did lose that game, so it kind of went by the wayside.
Oh, exactly. But you don't remember those things. Like those aren't you remember it because you're a true Yankee fan. But I'm just saying, like from a general casual standpoint,
Yeah, totally.
It's just like from an MLB fan, what has Aaron Judge done in clutch time?
2 weeks ago against Crochet, tie game or 1-0 game in the 9th, and they lost, of course. That's what I'm saying. Like it seems like every time he has a clutch hit, the Yankees lose.
But it's just like he doesn't do them when he most needs them to.
He had the walk-off. He had the grand slam against the Red Sox last year late in the game, like the 8th inning.
Was it regular season?
It was, of course.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's like when you're a casual, I'm not saying I'm a casual, but for the casuals and for like not the Yankee super fans like you, Aaron Judge doesn't have a career-defining moment. Like, yes, his stats and accolades are incredible. Him breaking the AL home run record is great. But like, what career-defining moment? Like, okay, he may go without winning a World Series ring, but like, what can you remember him for? Like, what is something like that he did in the postseason that you remember him for? You have Reggie Jackson, Mr. October. You have Ricky Henderson stealing bases and being a part of those great A's teams that were incredible. David Ortiz, you're always going to remember a Big Papi, always came up clutch in the moments. Manny Ramirez, for as much crap as he was, as they talked about him, he was great in moments. Dustin Pedroia, another guy, incredible moments guy. I think we're getting to the point, and that's the problem.
Yeah.
Is Judge made for the big moment? I'm sounding a little talk radio right now. I feel like New York talk radio, but is Aaron Judge capable of getting you and making those big moments? That's why I feel like Juan Soto was so important, because I kind of feel like they both play off each other really well. Juan lives off of the big moment and willing to show up, and then Aaron Judge is kind of like he's like a table setter. And it stinks to call him a table setter because he's more than just a table setter.
Yeah, he's gotta start coming through in the clutch a little bit more than he has been. And he did not on Tuesday. It was another loss, which made it 9 losses in their last 12 games for the Yankees, only scoring 34 runs in that span. I guess they got a good job salvaging the series on Wednesday. It's obviously better to win 1 of 3 than 0 of 3. Yankees won 7-0. Jazz answered back with a homer, his 11th of the season. Kind of had some words for Jose Trevino after the home run, who seemed to kind of indicate to the umpire on Tuesday night about kind of Jazz talking to him, and the Yankees didn't really like that. They thought that Trevino had a little bit of an impact on Jazz's ejection. Nonetheless, Fried, the lockdown guy that you need, 7 innings, no earned runs, 7 strikeouts. His ERA is down to a 1.92. Judge did have a nice 2 RBI double in the 6th to make it 6-1. And yeah, good win for the Yanks. Not much on this one. Jazz had an ugly error at third, which allowed a run to score, which kind of just again prompted the need, in my opinion, for a true third baseman for the Yankees, not Jazz, who again I still think is better as a second baseman. I'm going to keep saying it, but 7-1 win. They salvaged the series. I guess they're 12 games over 500, half game up with the Rays right now, with the Athletics coming to town this weekend.
Yeah. What do you think about the series? Any big takeaways? Anything you want to take of note after these 3 games?
Honestly, not really. Need for a third baseman, need for some bullpen help, need for um, maybe a different manager, if we're being honest. And yeah, I
Talk
mean,
about it.
it was.
Talk about it.
I don't want to go too in depth on Boone today. I feel like we've done enough Boone, and we got to get going on this thing. We're already like an hour in. We got to get to the rest of the league. Um, but there's just been some decisions this year that I'm not a fan of, and yeah, the much needed off day yesterday. We'll say that it was 16 straight games for the Yankees. They finally had an off day, and kind of just like going to the stretch here to basically this weekend and then 2 more full weeks of ball, and then we're at the All-Star break, which I think will be much needed for the Yankees. It feels like they've really been struggling in the month of June, but they're 11-12 in June. It's not awful. You know, if they can salvage a 500 month, maybe a notch above 500, I still think that's fine. Those are going to happen in the course of a 6-month season. But it's athletics, and then it's at Toronto for 4, which will be a really tough intra-division series, and then the Mets for 3, 4th of July weekend. So big stretch coming up here for the Yankees.
Yeah, and I've kind of beaten this by the bush. I think we both know that there's a need for a third baseman. But I would like the Yankees to go after bullpen aggressively. They're not going to get an arm as a starting pitcher. They're not going like I don't feel there's worth the cost is not worth the as I said the juice is not worth the squeeze to get a starting pitcher. I would like them just to go get bullpen arms. Like go get Reed Detmers, go get Jake Bird, like guys that were just floated. I know ESPN just dropped their top 50 potential trade pieces for the deadline. Like, let's just go get a Dennis Santana, Jake Bird, and Reed Detmers and see, like, figure it out. You have 2 months of the season to figure out what everybody's role is. You probably think Weaver and Williams are penciled into 8-9, and then, there's Cruz and Leiter. And like I said, you're one injury away from Cruz and Leiter from having a minor leaguer pitching meaningful innings for the Yankees. We know that Loaizaga is not there. Tim Hill's been okay. There's a need for a lefty. I would just like to see him like go get a nuclear pen. Like just go throw all the assets for Jake Bird, Dennis Santana, and Reed Detmers. What do you think about that?
Yeah, bullpen help is always welcome. And we know we've had some guys struggle. I really was not a fan of Mark Leiter Jr. just getting pushed to the limit on Tuesday nights after throwing 27 pitches on Monday night.
I was surprised that he threw him out there. Like that's the
Yeah.
biggest thing. I was just like, you're throwing him. I know it's a longer game, but like, man, like let's go get this elite pen. You go get the elite pen. You get a third baseman just for defensive purposes, and just roll and see how it falls. Um, like I said, Jake Bird, Reed Detmers, and Dennis Santana, and just throw them in there. I know Yankee fans on Twitter have thrown Johan Duran. I'm like, Cashman's not throwing in all those assets for Johan Duran or for the big or like a Mason Miller. Like, no, we're not doing that.
That's not happening. Those Luis Hill will be the trade deadline acquisition that they point to, and maybe Cam Shittler.
How do you think about Camp Shittler? That's one of the guys I've been telling you about. I know Driveline Baseball Academy. I told you about Cam Shittler.
He's been
Early
killing
this season.
He's been killing it in the minors for what's he at AAA Scranton 2.18 ERA with a 1.14 WHIP. Nasty, throwing gas. 6'6" righty, 24 years old. Just looks like a big leaguer to me. To be honest, I think he's probably ready. I just also kind of feel like that's not the kind of guy that the Yankees call up in midseason and stick into the rotation.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. I mean, I kind of thought about this and I wanted to ask you on pod. We don't know what Garrett Cole's going to look like. I feel like the Yankees need to keep hold of all these like young starting pitching arms because if we're operating at a 301, again, like in basketball terms, if we're operating out of this second apron at this like in baseball, we're operating at a 301 with the Yankees as like budget number. You're going to need to have cheap pieces. And I mean, you see it best with Philadelphia. Like Philadelphia's doing a great job with their team because they have cheap pieces in Alec Bowen and Bryson Stott. I mean, they may not be like elite, but like they're still really good, respectable pieces to have in your lineup. And with how the Garrett Cole contract is for the next 5 seasons, I believe now 4 going on next year, you're gonna have to find ways to adjust your money and get creative with that, with your salaries to hold this team together. And I mean, having guys like Clark Schmidt, Heel, and Will Warren, it's like more than necessary.
Yeah, so agreed. I don't know if they should move Schittler at the deadline. He's probably a guy that has a lot of value right now because he's crushing the minor leagues, and everyone needs arm help. Everyone wants young arms with years of control. That's a huge asset for the Yankees. And to your point, who knows what Garrett Cole is going to look like when he comes back and when he comes back next season. So I think they should hold on to him. I kind of think there's maybe a surplus in the outfield right now with Bellinger, with Judge, Dominguez coming up. Grisham's a free agent, and Bellinger can opt out. But there's guys in the outfield. I think you're more likely to see a Spencer Jones trade than you are a Yankees trade with some of these young, controllable arms. And also with pitching, you have the fact that these guys can, throw one pitch weird and all of a sudden you need Tommy John surgery. So they're very fragile. And yeah, I think it would make sense to hold on to Schittler. He's an exciting prospect.
No, like I said, I told you about him earlier in the season. I mean, I feel like Driveline Baseball Academy should hire me. I said last year about Jake Misiorowski. I mean, I'm pretty good at evaluating pitchers, but I'll close this Yankees thing with this. I know we expect a lot of the deadline, but I think we know this team pretty well. John Heyman said a quote, and he said, quote unquote, there are execs leery of dealing with Yankees GM Brian Cashman. Marveled one, he's never given up anything good. And that's true. The Yankees have never made a trade where they have actually given up a good player. Honestly, the one bad trade, and it wasn't bad at the time, it was only bad because the player did not perform, was the guess which trade?
Joey Gallo,
which turned into Josh Smith on Texas and Ezekiel Duran. So
Augustine Ramirez has turned out to be pretty good. And also Carlos Narvaez. Those are two recent trades that come to mind.
Michael King as well.
Yeah. I mean, you got Juan Soto from that. You got to the World Series.
I mean, Juan Soto might as well stop some super teams that's going on. I mean, have you seen the projected lineup that the Padres could have had if they never made the Juan Soto trade? They would have had Machado, Bogarts, Tatis, Merrill, James Wood, CJ Abrams, Mackenzie Gore. Like that team probably it's like up there with the Dodgers.
I know. Yeah. Washington has really enjoyed those three dudes. Not that they're any good this season as a team, but yeah, the players have been great. All right, let's get to the rest of Major League Baseball from the week.
That's a good segue. Let's talk about the week that was for the Washington Nationals, like the Natitude. I mean, the Padres and Nationals played this week. Padres won 2 out of 3. Again, James Wood keeps blasting home runs. He blasted a 361-foot homer where, it was crazy. It was his first game at Petco. He went 3 for 5 with 4 RBIs, and he had a amazing edit on Instagram. He will be on my fantasy team next year. He will become Austin Riley protected on my fantasy team. He had the edit with Offset co-signing. Yeah, he's on my team next year.
Yeah, 22 home runs on the season for James Wood. He should be the starting left fielder, in my opinion. Also in that game, Josh Bell had a home run, and the pitch was 4.16 feet above the ground, which was the highest pitch hit for a home run since pitch tracking began in 2008. That was from Sarah Langs. Does a good job with research for baseball. Yeah, James Wood was great in his first game at Petco. The Nats won that game on Monday 10-6. Had a good start from Mitchell Parker. Tuesday, Padres bounced back. They got a 4-3 win. They won that one late. They scored 2 in the 4th, 1 in the 5th, and 1 in the 6th after the Nationals were leading 3-0. Robert Suarez locked it down with a save. And then Wednesday, Padres won 1-0. Good start from your guy, Mackenzie Gore.
I mean, good start. I mean, the Nationals are the future, but let's go down in California. Let's talk about Boston versus the Angels. Let's go to Anaheim. I mean, Angels swept Boston. I mean, that good Boston mojo
That would be going up in California. San Diego to
That's
LA
right.
is
That's right.
north.
I was thinking about San Francisco for a second, but maybe I was stuck in Devers world. But Angels got a 3-game sweep. They won 9-5 on Monday, 3-2 on Tuesday. I mean, Christian Moore, your guy, local product, I believe, correct?
I don't think. No, he's from Brooklyn. He's from Brooklyn, but he went to Tennessee.
That's right. Christian Moore, great. He hit a homer in the 10th to walk it off, 2-homer night. He was incredible. And then on Wednesday, Angels won 5-2.
Yeah, Kikuchi, 7 innings, no earned runs, 12 strikeouts to 1 walk, 2.7 ERA on the season. He retired his final 13 batters. He's been really good for the Angels. He's, I think, in my opinion, one of the more under the radar pitchers this season. You had home runs from d'Arnaud, his 4th of the season, and then Joe Adell hit his 17th homer of the season. 10 homers in June for Mr. Adell. The Sox scored 2 in the first, and that was it. Sox get swept. Again, that lineup is struggling without Rafael Devers. Who could have seen that coming? What a surprise. They lost the Crochet start on Tuesday. He went 7 scoreless innings with a 2.06 ERA now on the season. But again, Moore had a home run in the 8th to tie it at 1, and then he had a walk-off home run in the 10th to win it. He's legit, man. And the Angels are a respectable ball club this season, which is good to see because they have a lot of young talent on that team. They haven't been good in a while. I mean, they're 40-40 right now. They got the Nationals at home this weekend, so we'll see how that goes. But Jose Siriano, even maybe Kyle Hendricks, and definitely Kikuchi. Those guys have been flying under the radar this season. So shout out to the Angels, man, playing good ball.
Let's go talk about staying in California. The Marlins got a sweep. I mean, tough for San Francisco. San Francisco lost 4-2 to the Marlins on Tuesday, 8-5 and 10 on Wednesday, and 12-5 yesterday. I was watching the game at the gym. Again, very tough scene for the Giants. Giants have only won 1 series since the Rafi Devers trade, and that is the Boston series. They're 3-7. They're 3-7 out of the last 10. The NL West, as William would like to say, is regressing to the mean.
It is 100,000% regressing to the mean. Now you have San Francisco 7 games over 500, San Diego 8 games over 500, Arizona's 2 games over 500. The Dodgers have a 6-game lead on the division. There were a lot of deep home runs on the Thursday game in this series. You had a 440-foot blast from Kyle Stowers, a 443-foot blast from Agustin Ramirez, a 438-foot blast from Rafael Devers to dead center. Some big home runs in that one, but again, to your point, Marlins sweep, and the Marlins are only 11 games under 500 right now. Respectable, honestly, season for them. Verlander, not a great start on Tuesday. Logan Webb was okay on Wednesday, 6 innings, 2 earned runs. I thought the Adames hit on Wednesday night was a walk-off grand slam, but it ended up just being a sac fly, and then they gave up 4 runs in the 10th. And yeah, the Marlins, good series for them. Good series for them.
Also, the Dodgers swept the Rockies in the West. I mean, I think the biggest takeaway is that Kershaw had a great start yesterday. He went 6 full, 2 hits, 1 earned, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts.
Yeah. 3 strikeouts away from 3,000, Clayton Kershaw. So you would think he gets it in his next start. His next start is currently scheduled for next Wednesday at home against the White Sox, Wednesday, July 2nd. Yep. So I think he'll probably get 3 strikeouts in that game. 3,000 is, I mean, once you hit 3,000 strikeouts, you're pretty much a guaranteed Hall of Famer. He already was a guaranteed Hall of Famer. You had that weird rain pop-up where the game should have been in a rain delay on Wednesday, and then the Rockies dropped it, allowed 2 runs to score. Conforto hit a home run in back-to-back games. He's up to 6 on the season. Ohtani homered on Thursday, his 28th of the year. Yamamoto, good start. But yeah, again, not much to really take away from this series. It was Dodgers kind of just taking care of business against the Rockies.
Yeah, and in other series news, let's talk about another series. Let's talk about Tampa. Tampa stays hot. They swept Kansas City. Again, Yandy Diaz is on a heater, 15-game hitting streak. They won Tuesday 5-1, Wednesday 3-0, and 4-0 on Thursday. Talk about it. I mean, Tampa, only good news coming about Tampa. They get off the Wander Franco money as well. For those that aren't living under a rock or living under a rock, Wander Franco was convicted yesterday, and so they have now grounds to cancel the contract.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you guys, we won't talk about it that much. If you guys want to like read up, just read on your own. I think it's notable, but I mean, good things in Tampa going on.
Yeah. They're playing incredible ball right now. And if you look at the month of June, they're 16-7. In May, they were 16-12. So that's 32 and 19 quick maths over the last 2 months of baseball. I mean, Júbal Caminero hit his 20th home run of the season yesterday. Magnum had a triple. Burbanks closed it out with his 15th save of the season. Taj Bradley, good bounce back start, was perfect through 5 innings, I believe, 5 or 6. And yeah, I don't know, man. They are on fire right now. As a Yankee fan, I'm obviously nervous. They're right on our tails. And they are facing the Orioles for 3 this weekend, and then the A's, and then the Twins. So another easy run of baseball for the Rays.
Yeah. Let's talk about Arizona. Arizona played the White Sox. I mean, Monday they won 10-0. Diamondbacks did. Suarez and Naylor left the game. So tough injuries. But Corbin Carroll has a chip fracture in his left wrist, so no timetable to return. Might be time for Arizona to set up shop and go for a retool year. They won Tuesday 4-1, and then that was a Ketel Marte Senate game. And then on White Sox won Wednesday. I mean, Zach Gallen was awful. 5 1/3, 8 hits, 5 earned, 1 walk. He has the highest ERA among starters at 5.75. White Sox ended up winning 7. Yeah, qualified. Excuse me. And the White Sox won 7-3. I mean, Andrew Benintendi hit a homer, and Sosa hit 2 home runs. Like, oof. Lewin Sosa.
Yeah, they're banged up. I think at this point it has to be a retool year for the Diamondbacks. They can still trade dudes and have a chance at maybe pushing for the wild card. You look at I think Eugenio Suarez should be traded at this point. I think Zach Gallen, you can convince a team that their pitching lab can fix him. Again, you mentioned highest qualified ERA amongst all starters in Major League Baseball right now. That's not good. He's a free agent. I think you got to move him. If you really want to tear it down this season, you can trade Josh Naylor, who's a pending free agent. Merrill Kelly, I think, should be traded. Maybe like a bullpen piece, like a Jalen Beeks. But yeah, I don't know, kind of just a season from hell from them with all the injuries. It looks like Corbin Carroll's probably going to be out until the All-Star game at the minimum with that hand injury or the wrist injury. And they lost Gabriel Moreno last week to the injured list. Like, it's just kind of grim right now. You got Ketel Marte playing out of his mind. But other than that, it's like, I don't know. And you're in a loaded division. It's a loaded league. I don't know. I mean, they won the series, so give them credit for that, I guess.
Yeah. You had Seattle versus Minnesota, Joe's Twins. What a series. I mean, they split. Mariners won 11-2 on Monday. Cal Raleigh hit homer 32, 4th consecutive game with a homer on Monday. He's the first Mariner ever to hit 10-plus home runs in 3 straight months. Rocco Baldelli is going to be back for the Twins. There's the rumors that they're going to sell the team.
Sell at the deadline. Sorry.
Also the team too.
Yeah, team too. Yeah.
Yeah, they won Tuesday 6-5, the Mariners again, but then the Twins came up and Joe Ryan had a wonderful start. They're winning on Wednesday 2-0, and then the Twins got a 10-1 victory on getaway day. Again, very tough for the Mariners and very tough for the Twins. I feel like just not good enough for both teams. So Twins right now are 39-42, 11.5 back from the Tigers, and well out of it. They're a game and a half or 2. They're like 2 or 3 games outside from the wild card. So
yeah, I think the Twins should do again like a soft tool rebuild type sell thing. Kind of similar to Arizona. I had obviously higher expectations for Arizona heading into the season than I did for the Twins. The Twins had that hot streak there in like mid-May into early June, but they've been struggling of late. And I think they should do like a soft tool sell, maybe like move a Chris Paddock, Christian Vasquez, Willie Castro, I think would be a good utility guy that teams would like. I would love Willie Castro on the Yankees. That's a name that I haven't heard being brought up. But the Twins aren't going anywhere this season. I think they should do they should move some of these guys. Cal
Yeah.
Raleigh, incredible. J-Rod hit a home run Monday, which snapped in the third. That snapped his longest home run drought of his career, 102 at bats. Brian Wu was great, tied his career high with 9 strikeouts on Monday night. And you mentioned Joe Ryan. Shout out to him. Good start alongside George Kirby, who had a good start as well on Wednesday. 2-0 game. That was a pitcher's duel. If you're into pitching, you like that game.
Yep. Tuesday, you had the start of the Athletics Detroit series. Detroit won 2 out of 3. Again, Tigers first team to 51 wins. First team to 50 on Tuesday, and they won yesterday, getting to 51, winning 11-4 yesterday on Tuesday, and then 8-0 on Thursday. At A's won Wednesday 3-0. I mean, Wencel Perez had an amazing outfield assist that my friends from Detroit that don't watch baseball sent me on Instagram Reels. So
yeah, he had 2 in the same inning. Crazy.
Very big. Good for the Tigers. Again, let's go over Ambassadors Bridge and talk about the Guardians versus the Blue Jays. Blue Jays won 2 out of 3, 10-6 on Tuesday. George Springer hit a grand salami. Wednesday, Guardians won 5-4 and 10. Scherzer pitched 5 full, 6 hits, 3 earned, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts. Had a pitch clock violation, which allowed the run to score. But
that was his first start since his first start of the season in March.
Yeah. And then yesterday, the Blue Jays won 6-0. Again, Alejandro Kirk came in with the pinch hit, 2 RBI hit. Goswin went 8 strong, 0 earned, 6 strikeouts, and they won 6-0. I mean, Blue Jays still continue to win ball games, and the Central still continues to struggle. I mean, it's not easy for the Yankees. Whenever you think the Yankees are going to have it easy, the division rises up. And I mean, Toronto's been a pleasant surprise this year. I mean, Alejandro Kirk's been a great catcher. They also have Taylor Heineman. I don't know if you've seen him catch. Yep. He's been a really good catcher. Addison Barger was hot for a minute. Ernie Clement also is hot. Yeah. You got Vladdy's, whose savant page looks really good. I mean, Toronto's going to be a force coming up, man. Got to watch out for those pesky Jays coming around the bend.
Yeah, and they've been doing it without Santander, who struggled early in the season. He's been out since May with that shoulder injury. He hasn't been in their lineup. Thursday, you had Vlad get hit. He left the game. He was angry. X-rays were negative. Got hit in the hand or the elbow, forearm area. He got hit, and then you got J-Ram, which in what was retaliation a couple innings later, got hit. He left the game. He should be fine as well, but little hostile on Thursday afternoon. Good to see Scherzer back. And then Chad Green, interesting note on him. He's been struggling with home runs this season. He allowed 8 home runs last season, and now he has 10 allowed already this year. The most he's ever allowed in his season is 14. So he's a good reliever, one of the better relievers for the Jays. He's just been struggling with the home runs this year. That's something to watch. But again, yeah, they keep winning, keep playing good baseball. They're 13-9 in the month of June after a 16-12 May. So they've been killing it. Yankees have some competition for sure in that division.
Yeah, I mean, let's go down and talk about the Mets and the Braves. I mean, the Mets had a huge loss yesterday. It looks like Griffin Canning popped his Achilles last night. They did win 4-0. They split the series. Monday, Braves won 3-2. Ronald Acuna, man, talk about a dude who is single-handedly showing the baseball world, like, how not to forget about a guy. He's hitting 369 this season with 9 home runs and 18 RBIs. And this is all in a condensed schedule because he just came back. This is in 111 at-bats. This dude is clearly showing us why he is the best player in the majors, and one of the best players, not the best. But, man, like, what a return. Also in 31 games. What a player. I feel like he's one of the prettiest swings in the game. I feel like it's so effortless. Like, he just, like, his hands just let it go. And then he obviously likes John Morant with the whole grenade celebration. So talk about it. I mean, the swing's beautiful. I think he's like one of the prettiest swings in all of Major League Baseball, in my opinion.
Very beautiful swing. Yeah, he's an X factor for the Braves. Unfortunately, they haven't been like incredible since he's returned. They haven't, gone on this massive run. I thought they really left some meat on the bone this series, winning the first two. The Mets fans were in shambles. The Braves moved to 5-0 against the Mets after the Tuesday game. And, you had Frank the Tank freaking out, and then the Mets won the next two. So that was huge. But yeah, Acuna's been great. Really good start from Schwellenbach on Monday. 7 innings, 2 earned runs. Soto had a home run. Soto, if you look at his June, he's hitting 325 with a 1.223 OPS with 10 home runs and a 486 OBP. He's been killing it in May. He had 2 home runs on Wednesday to move to 19 on the season. Edwin Diaz picked up his 16th save. Juan Soto's 27 career multi-home run games before age 27 is the most all time, beating out Jimmy Fox's 26. He's on a Hall of Fame pace. But again, brutal news for the Mets yesterday. That was a tough injury. You hate to see it for Griffin Koenig. Definitely an Achilles thing there. And he had been one of their better pitchers. Now you got Sean Manaea, who his timeline just got set back this week. They did have Montas returned. His first start of the season went 5 scoreless on Tuesday night through like 80 pitches. But you got Senga injured. You got Manaea injured. Now you got Griffin Koenig, who's probably going to be out for the season. A lot of pitching injuries. Can that pitching dev system deal with it? Or are they going to have to make a move at the deadline? I think that's something to watch.
Talking about pitching dev systems, let's go to the NL Central, the pitching development of Major League Baseball. Milwaukee versus Pittsburgh. I mean, we don't need to talk about this series, honestly. I feel like the most important thing is that the Brewers won 2 out of 3. They won Tuesday. O'Neal Cruz got pulled for a lack of hustle. Pirates won on Monday. But we need to talk about Wednesday. The Jacob Misiorowski versus Paul Skenes game. This is the 7th time in Major League since 2008 that both starters threw at least one pitch over 100 miles an hour. Like, can we just get them just to, like, pitch whatever, just go out there, just pitch
every game?
Like, not every game, like every 5 games, just like have them both, like, go try to hit them. No bullpens, anything.
Yeah, Skenes wasn't even that great. I mean, went 4 innings, 4 earned runs, 78 pitches got pulled. Misiorowski's been just incredible. 5 innings, no earned runs, 8 strikeouts, 2 walks, 74 pitches for him. He's got a 1.13 ERA through his first 3 starts in the major leagues. It was sold out on a Wednesday afternoon because of the pitching matchup. Misiorowski could be the next dude. And you got Chase Burns in Cincinnati. St. Louis maybe doesn't really have anybody in terms of like elite pitchers. Same thing for Chicago. Maybe Cade Horton, but he's not on that level.
Whoa. What are you talking about? They have the pitching whisperer, Shota Imanaka.
Yeah, Shota. We can get to that series now if you want to talk about this. Continue talking about the Central.
I'm just saying, like, the Central, the young talent, again, we said it in the past, like the young talent in the Central that's getting produced, I feel like they're putting out young talent at a pace that the league can't, keep up. I mean, you got Ellie, Chase Burns, Hunter Brown, Jacob Misiorowski,
Hunter Green.
Yeah, exactly. Hunter Green, Paul Skenes, Tamar Johnson's coming up. They got Connor Griffin. The Pirates have Connor Griffin. PCA. Victor Scott, Victor Scott doesn't have a bat, but man, the defensive plays he makes out there at center field, along with Mason Wynn, who's looked pretty good this year. Like, talk about a division that's putting out really good talent comparison to the others. Like, it's the future of the Central's in great hands. And I feel like in a couple years, if everybody still keeps developing talent, I feel like there's going to make for some really good division battles coming at the end. Like, people give crap about the Pirates, but the Pirates got really good talent coming up. And, man, we talked about it over text. The Reds, Andrew Abbott, Hunter Green, Rhett Lauder, Chase Burns. The Cardinals, they have Mason Wynn, Jordan Walker, Victor Scott, Brendan Donovan, Lars Nootbaar. And then you got the Brewers with Freddie Peralta, Jacob Misiorowski. And then you have, Jackson Chourio. How can we forget about Jackson Chourio?
Yeah.
So, and they got Jesus Made coming up too, which is
Jesus Made, yes, sir. Yeah, Jesus really good.
Made.
Good division in terms of talent depth and everything. Teams maybe not amazing. Chicago, St. Louis, they split a 2-game set in St. Louis. I feel like the Cardinals left a lot of meat on the bones in this one. They won the first 2 games, first one 8-2, second one 8-7, and then the Cubs won 8-0 on Wednesday. Thursday, the Cubs won 3-0. Monday night, Matthew Liberador, 7 innings, 2 earned runs. The commentators kept referring to him as Libby. I don't know if he loves that nickname in terms of his political views. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know what they are, but I'd be curious to see if he actually likes that. That had homers from Nolan Gorman, Donovan Burleson, and Nootbaar. They went nuclear. Ben Brown, 5 innings, 8 earned runs on this one. Tuesday, Jameson Taillon struggled, 8 earned runs in 4 innings. Home runs again from Gorman, Nootbaar, Mason Wynn. Nico Horner hit his first home run of the season. It barely got over the fence, but it did. 21 home runs on the season for Seiya Suzuki. You had a great play by Nolan Arenado to end the game. Barehanded play, got Swanson at first. PCA, forgot how many outs there were in this one, which allowed Mason Wynn to score on a sac fly to center field. He scored from second. But then the Cubs won 8-0 on Wednesday. You had reports before the game that the Cubs are eyeing Mitch Keller and Sandy Alcantara as pitching help at the deadline. They definitely need that. John Gruden threw out the first pitch. He said, quote, "I have never been that nervous since Super Bowl 37. That was interesting. Shows you, I think, just how much pressure that these pitchers have on them. Eric Fetty, 3 innings, 7 earned runs, bad start from him. Matthew Boyd continues to be the best starting pitcher that the Cubs have right now with the Shota injury. Boyd, 6 innings, no earned runs. Make that 11 quality starts on the season for him. He also reached 1,000 career innings pitched. You have home runs from Happ and Tucker and McGuire. Happ's been incredible in June in terms of homers, that is. 9 home runs in the month with an 880 OPS. So he's been good this month. And then Shota returned on Thursday, 5 innings, 1 hit, no earned runs. Cardinals only got 3 hits in that game. And the Cubs, huge split for them after where the series started. The Cardinals are still 4.5 back of Chicago in the Central.
Don't sleep on the Cardinals. I think the Ollie Marmol group chat might need to take a back seat. Fire Ollie Marmol group chat.
Yeah,
I think it might be the free Dane Danger group chat now.
These two play over 4th of July weekend in Chicago. So a week away from playing again.
Yeah. So, and then finally, last series, Rangers win 2 out of 3. Orioles won on Monday 6-0. Trevor Rogers pitched 8 full, 3 hits, 0 earned, 4 strikeouts. Last Orioles starter to complete 8 scoreless innings was Grayson Rodriguez in September 2023. Jackson Holliday hit a homer, went 3 for 5 with 4 RBIs. Patrick Corbin struggled. Rangers won 6-5 Tuesday and 10, and then on Wednesday 7-0. I mean, Jacob deGrom was incredible. Talk about a dude who's remade himself. Pitched 7 to 1 hit, 2 walks, and 7 strikeouts. Carried a perfect game through 6 innings before walking Jackson Holliday, and then he lost a no-hitter in the 8th. But shout out to the Rangers.
DeGrom could be an all-star starter. Could be Cy Young candidate. He's been that good. Renaissance season for him. And then also you forgot Houston and Philly. Houston's World Series rematch of 2022. Houston swept them. Just a pitching masterclass from Houston. We already gassed Houston up in the last episode, but Astros won 1-0 on Tuesday, 2-0 on Wednesday, 2-1 on Thursday. You had really good starts from Framber, who went 7 scoreless on Tuesday.
HB went strong yesterday, I believe, or the day before against Christopher Sanchez.
Hunter Brown went 7 on Thursday with 3 hits, 9 strikeouts, MLB leading 1.74 ERA. Cam Smith clutch single in the 8th to give them the lead. Chris Sanchez was really good as well. 6 innings, 11 Ks, 1 earned run. Josh Hader is 21 for 21 in save opportunities this season, which that start to the season, 21 straight saves, matches this franchise record. The Phillies had bases loaded with 1 out in the 8th on Wednesday, but Bohm struck out and then Castellanos grounded out. Colton Gordon, good start for the Astros on Wednesday. And then also you had the huge news of Jeremy Peña hiring Scott Boras as his agent, as he was negotiating an extension with the Astros prior to that. But I think it was like, I can't remember how much they said. It was a good amount of money. And then he hired Boras, and now that's probably not going to happen. And he will be a free agent. I can look right now to see how many more years of control he has. He's got 2 more years of arbitration, and then he's a free agent in 2028.
Well, you know what that means, to be honest. Like, Scott Boras hires you, like you're headed to free agency. And I texted you that on Monday. I was like, oh, well, Jeremy Peña hired Scott Boras. Well, RIP a contract extension. And then MLB Trade Rumors account tweeted out the link that's saying, like, oh, yep, extension talks halted. And I was like, Scott Boras special.
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't know. If there's ever a time for Jeremy Peña to sign an extension, it'd probably be now when he's having a career year. It's a guy that struggled after winning the World Series MVP in 2022. I don't know. Is his value ever going to be higher? He's 27 right now. When he's a free agent 2 years from now, after the 2027 season, he'll be like close to 30. Who knows what he's going to do the next 2 years? I think it would kind of be wise for Jeremy Peña to just put ink to paper right now and get a pretty hefty deal. You know, he's one of the, if not the best shortstop in the American League right now, alongside like Jacob Wilson.
You would say the same thing about PCA, and look at him now.
Right. I think PCA, I think his value is maybe never going to be higher. I think now would be a smart time for him to sign the extension.
You never know, my guy. You never know.
What do you think? You think PCA should ride it out?
Yeah, 100%. He's going to get paid more. So,
all right. That's it. That's all we got.
That's all we got today. I mean, that's another great edition of the Locked In Sports Podcast. Make sure you follow us on YouTube, trying to get to that 100 subscribers mark. Make sure to follow us on Instagram. Again, please, please, please follow us on TikTok, that Locked In Sports Podcast. Also, please follow us on Substack. I know William's cranking up another Substack article pretty soon.
It's been since like April since I pumped one out. I've been busy with other stuff, so I don't know about Substack, but every other platform, yes. And thank you for listening. We'll be back on Sunday for to recap the weekend slate. Luis, have a great weekend, my friend. What are you doing? Anything fun?
Chilling this weekend. I mean, I got dinner tonight and probably going pool or beach tomorrow, depending on what happens. So,
all right, enjoy.
We'll have a television screen trying to watch the Yankees game. So, and have baseball on. So,
we'll report back on the weekend on Sunday. Until then, thank you all for listening, and we'll catch you next time. Peace out.